Well, good day, viewers. Today we have a 2011 F150. I think it's the 5.4 gas V8, and it's here for a no crank condition. Now, the story goes that the customer bought the vehicle several months ago, and the vehicle had been sitting and the battery went dead. He boosted the vehicle to start it, and it was running with no problem. He went to roll the window down, and the truck quit, and now it won't crank. So first and foremost, we're going to confirm the condition, and we're going to pay attention to warning lights on the dash, specifically the check engine light, and we're going to listen for the fuel pump prime event, because this should have a fuel pump prime when we turn the key on. Okay, I heard the fuel pump prime. The check engine light is on. Tire pressure message, ABS light, airbag warning light, service advance track, trailer brake module fault. And let's confirm the condition. So it has no crank. So we're going to connect the scan tool to it now. I'm going to set this up to record this. So I got the key in the run position, and I'm going to ID this as a Ford. We'll see if it'll automatically ID. Yeah, 2011 F-150 5-liter. I said it was a 5.4, it's a 5-liter. Let's do a code scan, see if they got any security codes. Key on, engine not running. It's at 11.4 volts, so the battery's a little bit weak. Continue. No engine codes, no tranny codes. In the anti-theft, we have tire pressure sensor codes. Lost communication with ECM, missing message, not current, warning lamp on. Battery voltage circuit above threshold, below threshold. That happens when we have a battery charger on it. Keypad illumination output, short to battery or short to ground. Run start control circuit short to ground or open. That could be my cause right there. Start button, mode indicator, short circuit to ground. PATS missing message, not current. PATS transponder missing message, not current. Okay, well, let's got a record of these codes. Let's clear them all out. Switch ignition off. Continue. Clear all codes read by code scan. Let's see how many modules. 14 modules. VCM responded. Anti-theft responded. Okay, so let's make an attempt to start this thing again. Turn the key off. And try to start it. And let's do another code scan. Trouble with the battery going dead, or with him disconnecting things, and it sets fault codes. Lost communication with ABS, lost communication with power steering control module. So we got a network problem with the instrument cluster. Lost communication with restraints, lost communication with restraints. Transfer case, lost communication with anti-lock brake. Lower fan relay short to ground. All right. Well, security codes are all gone, but we have communication codes with the instrument cluster. I think we're going to have a look at how the network's designed on this thing. Let's do some research. So I got no communication with the ABS module. This is where a topology map would really be nice, Mr. Snap-on. Let's see if we have communication with the airbag. No communication with the airbag. So there's a network issue going on here. I think we better put a breakout box in here and have a look at termination resistance. So I got network communication occurring, but it doesn't mean it's clean communication and that there isn't a module off the network or more than one module. So I'm going to use this Think Tool Pro scan tool to do a network scan. Got the key on, it should auto ID. Just like a Vegas slot machine. And we're going to go diagnosis. And when I mention topology map, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Set the key on, we do. Type of radio, install AM FM radio with CD. Yes. Not a nav radio, so we've got that one. So there's a topology map. So now when we do a smart scan, I'm going to say we got no communication with ABS. See? It says not equipped. APIM. It may not be equipped with the APIN. VCM is online. So everything on the top in the red there is high-speed CAN, and then medium speed 2 and medium speed CAN. So the HVAC controller is offline, the instrument cluster is offline. I thought we had codes in the instrument cluster. No, we got codes in the instrument cluster. That red means it's scanned and there's 5 codes. So anything grayed out is either not equipped or it's not communicating. Trailer brake control. Transfer case control. So we can see that we got some communication issues. So I'm going to bring a lab scope down here and have a look at this network. So I got channel 1 connected to pin 6, which is high-speed CAN plus, and channel 2 connected to pin 14, which is high-speed CAN minus. And I've got a textbook perfect CAN bus signal. They're a mirror image of each other, with the CAN positive going bias 2.5 volts and going up a volt, and the CAN minus bias 2.5 volts and going down a volt. But that doesn't mean we don't have a problem with the network with modules offline. So we're going to disable the battery and check terminating resistance, which is measuring the resistance across pins 6 and 14. And I'm going to turn the key off and see if the network will go to sleep. Maybe I don't have to disconnect the battery. Take the key out of the ignition, monitor CAN activity. If it'll go to sleep, I can measure the resistance. Okay, so at rest, it's pretty much 0 volts. So let's try measuring the resistance. So measuring across pin 6 and 14 of the DLC, and I should actually have the scanner module unplugged from it, but I read 56 ohms. The spec is 60 plus or minus 2, so we're at 56, which is close enough. I don't think we have an open or shorted network. At least it doesn't appear. So I'm going to look at the network topology on this thing. So all the modules on the high-speed CAN bus that are grayed out, I believe it should have, and they're not communicating. The ones on the medium speed CAN bus on the bottom there and grayed out, it doesn't have, like GPS, power running boards, interior light control module, driver's seat module. That would be for heated seats, I believe. So we're focusing on the high-speed CAN bus. But the interesting thing is we got communication with some of the modules, and we look at this circuit and how it's designed, and it's kind of confusing. It comes from 6 and 14 across the page to page 2 here, and I'm using a Mitchell version of this diagram because it's condensed. I do have communication with the instrument cluster. I do have communication with the steering column control module. I have communication with the transfer case control module. Do I have transfer case control module? Yeah. And I have communication with the PCM. But all of these modules down below I do not have communication with. The restraints control module, the anti-lock brake module, the occupant classification module, parking aid module, and the power steering control module, none of which should theoretically interfere with security. And I don't have any security codes in the PCM. But something is preventing this thing from cranking. I'm going to look at data in the PCM. Maybe we got more than one problem. I know we got a code in the HVAC controller for the blower fan. That's secondary. But the transfer case control module is complaining of loss of communication with the ABS. And the instrument cluster is complaining about loss of communication with a bunch of modules. Come on. So there's like 5 U codes. And I call U codes ugly codes. What are you doing up there? What do you want, my helper? Well, I'm going to do some more research. So I realize now that the BCM looks to be the gateway in this network because it has the high-speed CAN bus and the medium-speed CAN bus going to it. So it is the communicator between the two networks, but also the accessory protocol interface module down here has both medium speed and high speed CAN. I don't have communication with this, but I do have communication with the BCM. I did a key on engine off test with the BCM. I'm going to show you what happened. So here's the results of the key on engine off test in the BCM. Now the driver's door ajar is because I had the door open when it wasn't supposed to, and the hood ajar is because I have the hood open and it's supposed to be closed during this test. But this is the code that bothers me. Missing communication with ECM. If the BCM cannot communicate with the ECM, then it won't be able to transfer the passive anti-theft and the fuel continue and the crank enable signal. So that's interesting that that code didn't come up doing a regular scan. I got the key on, and let's go into the BCM. Come on, you can do it. And read fault codes, continuous memory codes. Now we have it. But that's when I did the key on engine off test. It wasn't there before. If you look at the topology map, if it comes back up on the screen here, now we have one code in the BCM. We didn't have that before. It was green. So I'm going to do some research and see what's common to cause this code. Maybe we'll get lucky and find a silver bullet. So I did a keyword search for one of the U codes, U0121, which shows up in the transfer case control module in the IPC, and I think in the BCM too. And I find a case here that says vehicle does not crank, there's no communication with the PCM. But we do have communication with the PCM, but there are multiple communication codes in history. Okay, it says check fuses 52, 53, and 54 on the unheard fuse box are dead. So I'm going to go check those fuses. So fuse 52, 53, 54 are these 3 5-amp fuses. I got the key in the run position right now, and all 3 of these fuses are dead. Those fuses are supposed to be live. Here's the circuit. So 53, 54, 52. 52 feeds power to the power steering control module. This one feeds power. 54 is the anti-lock brakes, the transfer case control module. 53 feeds power to the PCM, but the PCM has multiple powers, so it might have a backup call or backup plan. And that comes from 13-14, which is on the next page here. And that comes from the run crank relay, run start relay, which is sending power to fuse 31, which is a 15 amp fuse, fuse 31. 31 is this fuse right here. That's supposed to be live. It's live on that side. It's live on that side. But it goes from that fuse, fuse 31, through the run start relay and off to this circuit here. So the run start relay, because Ford didn't label anything in here except numbers, the run start relay is the third one in. 1, 2, 3. This one right here. 2, 3. So we're going to pull this relay out. Got to get a pair of pliers. So again, that's the third relay from the right. 1, 2, 3. Run start relay. That's this one, and I'm pulling it out, and there's no click. So the relay's not being energized. Now this pin on the relay should be live, and it is, and it sends power to this pin. So it comes from this fuse, to pin 30 of this relay, and the relay closes to pin 87, but the relay is not being energized. So let's put a jumper in there. I was going to use this relay jumper, but it won't fit because these terminals are too wide. I don't think it'll fit. Let me try. Well, it kind of fits, and I heard modules powering up. So I've got 2 test terminals in there and a jumpered. So now we have power to fuse 52, 53, and 54. Let's see if the engine will start. Okay, so now we got to investigate what turns that relay on. So that relay is powered up by fuse 42 and ground side controlled by this circuit here, which is the field effect transistor in the BCM. Brown violet, brown violet. So let's check fuse 42. That should be hot at all times. Which one is 42? Starting to get dark outside. 42 is down here. 41, 42. This one here. And it's, to make sure my test light works, this fuse is in poor shape. Wow. So that's an edge fuse, and it's all green and corroded. You can see that terminal. We got power on one side. But I had no power to that fuse. The terminal is corroded, oxidized in there. So that's the power for the fuse, or for the relay. Well, I can get this thing in the shop now with that relay bypass that feeds power to these fuses. So I got it in the shop running, and I did a network code clear, and we're going to do a rescan. We still got a code in the ABS, but it's communicating now. Got no communication with the APIM though. Doesn't have this module. We didn't have communication with the trailer brake control module, transfer case control module, I believe. I'm surprised the BCM's not setting a fault code for the run crank relay, but I thought there was a code in history for it. We still got some concerns, but it's running. Let's see what the ABS code is. Battery voltage out of range. Well, that's because I had the charger on it. Battery voltage high. I had the charger on it. Passenger seat occupant classification. Sensor 5-volt supply. And power steering control module. Battery voltage. So let's clear all these. We put a fast charger on the vehicle and the battery voltage goes above 15 volts and the modules complain about that. So this fuse panel is in poor shape. It's corroded internally in that terminal. I'm going to investigate what the cost of a new fuse panel is, because I think that's the proper fix for this thing. So I managed to clean that terminal up inside the fuse panel with this diamond file. So now we have power on both sides of that fuse, and we have power to the control pin of the run crank relay. Where is that pin? So theoretically, if I turn the key on and plug this relay in, it should click. So as I'm plugging the relay in, we'll listen for a click. So I'm sure it'll start now. I'm still going to investigate if a replacement fuse panel is available. It looks like it's part of the harness. Oh well. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.